Running for me is therapeutic. It's my time for me to connect with myself. It's the only time that I'm able to disconnect from everything and just really be with myself.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Zamolo. I'm from Northern California. I'm the oldest of 5 kids.
She appointed herself in charge, so she was always mothering the other kids.
I was definitely the bossy one. I would choreograph routines for everyone. I would yell at my siblings if they did something wrong. I started doing acrobatic gymnastics, and I competed, and I went to nationals when I was 9, and then I turned over to artistic.
As she grew into herself, she organized musicals, plays, skits.
I thought I wanted to act or do some type of performing, and I went to school for sports broadcasting. I didn't necessarily love school. Thank God I ran track in college, because that kind of kept me in line for school. What I really wanted to do was act and perform, and so I just decided I was gonna go for what I really wanted to do, rather than just do what is the safe bet.
We met a long time ago, about 12 years ago. I was a singer, and she was actually a dancer.
So I met Matt when I was a professional cheerleader for the San Jose SaberCats. Matt was in a boy band, and they were doing a music video for MTV, and I was one of the 6 cheerleaders picked for his music video. Looking like a tramp, like a video vamp. Damn, unless you wanna, can I be your man?
And we hit it off right there on set.
And then the after party, the rap party, he was his first line to me was like, "You run track? I used to run track." And I was like, okay.
She's one of those people that everybody's gravitated to, easy to talk to, but she also is very down to earth and likes to have a lot of fun. And it's kind of hard to go somewhere where somebody's not gravitated to come and talk to Rebecca. I tried to make it as a solo artist, and just one thing after another kept on stopping me from moving forward with that.
He had gotten into the hotel business, and we both kind of decided, I decided, I was like, I'm moving to LA, and he was pretty excited to move too.
We decided to take the next step and move in together and move down to Los Angeles.
So I moved to LA to become an actress, like many do.
I'm gonna run out golf course the long way, and then I will go up to 26 bathroom because I always stop there.
I remember I went for a run one day, and all of a sudden I was like, I have to run to the bathroom, and I ran back, went to the bathroom, and then went on again, and I went to the bathroom 3 times.
When her stomach started acting up and we really didn't know what was going on, she would call me from work late at night, hey, can you take me to the hospital? I can't stay in this pain. I don't know what's going on.
So this is the 76 gas station that I stop at least once every time I run.
And she used to come in, and I was always wondering, why does she come and use the bathroom? Okay, some people do have to use the bathroom a lot.
I tried to figure out what was going on, and they really didn't know anything, and then they kept on having to do all these CAT scans.
They sent me in for a sigmoidoscopy, and that's where I found out I had ulcerative colitis.
It was hard. We didn't really know anything about it, and there wasn't a lot of information out there.
So ulcerative colitis is a disease that involves mainly the colon and rectum, and it basically is an ulcerative colitis, which means that the mucosa that line the entire colon and rectum are inflamed, and that leads to symptoms such as diarrhea, bleeding.
You know, a year into it, things weren't getting better. I would be like driving home and all of a sudden I would like have to go. And I remember like I'd have to pull into the apartment. I'd be like, Matt, come down and get the car. And he'd have to get in my car and I have to run up to the just to get to the bathroom in time. This disease had almost made a prison for me, you know, where I had to eat at a certain time so that I could leave at a certain time, so that I could go somewhere, or, you know, everything was basically worked around my stomach. I probably go to the bathroom, you know, 20 plus times a day. I don't get nutrients, you know, my body doesn't absorb a lot of things, so I'm constantly anemic. God.
We really tried to figure out, okay, hey, there's a cure. We can go ahead and try to figure out how to do this. And they kept on giving her medicine after medicine after medicine, and nothing was working.
I've had to take every medication possible. I listened, you know, at first I would listen to these doctors and they'd be like, you know, don't eat low fiber foods, this and that, which actually made my stomach worse. So I'd be in the hospital every 3 months.
Eventually it just got to that point where surgery was necessary.
You know, every year that passed was another, you know, my risk of colon cancer was getting higher and higher and higher.
We had met with this new surgeon and he just kind of wanted to talk to us.
By the time I met her, I think she's one of those people, she was in a field that, you know, she's young, having surgery is not something that people ever think about, being sick is not something people think about that age group. So she's doing her best really to avoid surgery.
They were recommending getting my colon removed, or part of it removed, and then carrying a bag.
So in your case, the surgery we're planning to do is to remove the entire colon, including the rectum. We're going to take your small intestine and bring it up to the right side to divert you temporarily.
And that's that'll be what you see here, the stoma.
The stoma.
I was like, I don't want surgery. It's like, hi, I'm here for the lead role.
So the marking will be on the right side, right, for the ileostomies. I'm going to mark you 2 areas, one above the belly button and one below. Typically, it could either be oval shaped or round shaped, and it'll be here.
It's literally my...
Kind of like that. Some patients like to wear kind of flowy, you know, flowy shirts. You can't even tell.
So you can't tell.
And this one you can kind of tuck in your pants if you wear yoga pants or.
But these are guts.
Yeah, so it's part of, sure. So do we exteriorize your...
When she put a bag up on me and I was like, oh my God. It was tough. It was like, whoa, this body will never be the same again, you know? It made me sad, but also I felt a little at peace, knowing that this was the right decision.
So, how are you feeling? Good?
Yeah.
Talking to my surgeon and hearing that I was the most severe case that they've had in, you know, over 2 years.
I wanted to update you. I talked to you a little bit on the phone after your last colonoscopy. Yeah. Dr. Fahmy did mention that things looked really severe, the colitis. And I called you talking about how that may alter our plan. Now, the final planning, we're still going to go in with the idea of doing that. But when we're doing the operation, if we find the colitis is really, you know, severe, and that it's a higher risk to do the procedure now where we do everything in one go, we may just choose to stage it out. And that's something we'll really know only at the time when we do the operation on Thursday.
3 months or 9 months, depending on how much damage is inside. There's still even that risk that they go in and I have to have a bag for the rest of my life.
Worst case scenario, when something like infection develops or bleeding, it can be life-threatening. You could have blood clots in your legs that can go to your lungs, affect your breathing. These are all, again, worst case scenarios. Okay. Rare, but things that we're always aware of, okay?
Okay. We really won't know until I'm under the knife, you know, there's just all these unknowns and question marks, and that's the scary part.
You're confident in the surgery.
Yeah, this is absolutely what you need. I think you're one of the worst ones in terms of symptoms already, because you've been trying to hold off on it for a while.
Yeah.
And you've been suffering. I think 20 bottles a day is it's a lot to go through. So this is absolutely what you need.
Yeah.
God, to see the other side and to be like, wow, I could be normal. Or they're like, you might go to the bathroom 5 times a day. I'm like, 5 times a day? That's amazing. Like, I can't even remember that.
I've been like fighting surgery for a long time, so.
And you did well.
Yeah.
But that is what you need now, so
Yeah.
we'll take good care of you.
This disease has really made my life a prison, and I feel like I'm such this like free, happy person, and you know, I try to be that, but I feel like I've lost a lot of like who I am from this, and I can't really fully be me because I'm constantly like worrying about this. Like there's moments in my day, you know, where I'm me for like 15 minutes or an hour. I'm on, you know, performing, and I forget. But then like the reality is that like I can't, you know, be me.
And I'm looking forward to a nice little whole stoma, and that's it.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I don't need cake unless there's candles. I don't need cake unless it's chocolate.
The night before my surgery, I wanted to have a party with all my friends, just the people that have supported me along the way, that have really been there for me.
Okay, I'd like to make a speech. I want to say thank you guys all for coming. You know, I did my Kickstarter to raise money for this.
It was just so good to see all the love and support that I had from these people.
Tomorrow is my surgery. Obviously, we don't know what's gonna happen.
I think having everybody come over the night before really calmed her down a little bit and gave her a little bit of peace.
I didn't do much. My mom came down, and you know, when your mom's here, you always feel like you turn back into that like, little baby again. So
I can't make her better. And it's hard to see your kids suffer.
I know I have a lot of people praying for me, and that means like so much, because at this point it really is, you know, in God's hands, because you know there's only so much doctors can do. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, and hopefully it goes well.
So it is 5 o'clock on Thursday, September 11th. I'm about to head over for my surgery.
So Rebecca, her mom and I all went to the hospital and got her checked in.
Hey, I'm just here waiting for my surgery. I got this from my sister, this from Anna. I'm holding it till the last second.
You could see she was pretty scared. It was a little nerve-wracking. You can't really do anything at that point.
You can see my mom.
Stop. That's too close.
And my husband. And just the trio waiting for surgery. I'm out. Waking up, I remember just seeing my I think I seen Matt, my mom, and it's 2:15. I just got out of surgery.
And the first thing she says was, "No one will tell me, is it 3 months or 9 months?" And I had to break it to her.
You know, then I was like, I saw Matt, and he's like trying to be all cool. He's like, so no, it's gonna be 9, but it's gonna be okay. And I was like drugged up. I found out I'm gonna have to have the bag for 9 months instead of 3 months. It's a little upsetting, but
Given the fact that she's recently on high-dose steroids as well as a Remicade, that long-term outcomes would be best if we actually break up the procedure so that she's able to get rid of the effects of the Remicade and the steroids that she's currently on.
I think she eventually found comfort in knowing that it was a successful surgery and no complications happened, and she's able to move forward with her life.
the ostomy doctor, and he is showing me, oh my God, my stoma for the first time. And it is freaking huge. Oh my God. Okay.
It was hard. It was bigger than I thought. It was uglier. It was like this weird thing sticking out of me. It was like a mushroom.
It's like big Botoxed lips. Cool. So will it get smaller?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
going to get smaller between 6 weeks to 8 weeks. Beautiful. It's perfect. You know?
You said it's swollen though. It's gonna
It's swollen. It's a normal reaction of the body to get swell.
Yeah.
When someone slaps your face, it's going to swell, but sooner or later it's going to subside to the normal.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Like, I don't know how I can feel good wearing a bag, but figure out a way, I guess.
Like he said, he described it like this. I had a tube, so I was like peeing, and they're like, she's peeing. I'm like, I am. I didn't know I was peeing. You don't feel anything.
Yeah.
The day after surgery, my friends came. They were all wearing Team Rebecca shirts, and you know they. It gets me like so emotional every time. To like have that many people show up for you and know that like they were rooting for you. It's not like I planned any of this. I wasn't able to. So this was them making an effort. No more hospital for me. Yay. The first week of having my bag, I felt like I was just thrown into this bag boot camp.
Last night was quite interesting. I was actually, I woke up and I noticed on my stomach that my bag was leaking.
It was just one thing after the other, and it was... So right now, my bag is leaking, and I'm going to the doctor's, but I have to take Uber. I had to call an Uber because my husband was at work. I'm gonna try to figure out, I duct wrapped, I'll show you. I put tape on my stomach, and then, okay. It comes undone, and it all comes down onto my carpet. I guess the bag came undone. So, like, you can see. So I'm literally cleaning up my own feces on my carpet. The pain medication made me car sick. I threw up in this bag right here. Luckily, my Uber driver, Mauricio, is very nice, and I luckily didn't get it on his car, but he's still taking me to my appointment. Oh, what a fun little day it's been so far. I got out, went to the nurse, and was just so relieved, and she just like cleaned me up. I remember just being like defeated, you know, completely defeated, and that takes, you know, a lot for me, but man, it was like the lowest of lows. I am changing my bag right now, which there's actually, it was leaking, so I had to use some high tape so it wouldn't leak, which that stuff works pretty good. It's a new day. We're gonna start fresh, you know, like, you know how to change your bag now, you'll be okay. This was like really hard for me to look at, like for a long time, and it still kind of is, but let's take off the sticky stuff. There we go. Clean all this gunk off. Yeah, Matt kind of does it once in a while, but I mean, I need to be able to do this like, so I know, you know. I don't even know when I'm going to the bathroom, so all of a sudden it'll be like dropping, and I'm like, oh my God, which is why we have this here. So this is how the stealth belt guy Richard told me to put it on, is like that, and then I push it down, make sure it fits. After a few weeks with the bag, I definitely had adjusted more. What I really noticed is I could eat foods that I hadn't been able to eat in years and not have pain. Like, I haven't done that. I would have never. I would have had to eat an hour and a half before, and I would have like had to make sure I went to the bathroom right before I left, and there's no way I could have just ate something right before and driven in a car and been okay. So it just blew up. Feel it.
If I
it's like
wake
a,
up like
oh my god. It's like a balloon. It's from soda. Anything carbonated like blows it up.
That's crazy.
So all these things that people think are so normal were like things that I was like, I felt like a kid, like experiencing like something for the first time. Again, it was like, oh my gosh, like we get to walk home after dinner, like wow, you know, and just little things that were so big to me, going to a movie.
So I just finished watching my first movie since surgery with my husband, who's really short right now. And I ate and drank the whole time without having to leave.
God, I'd missed out on so much of life for 8 years, you know? Like, it's crazy to think what I went through, you know? And it was all because I was afraid of a surgery that has in fact given me my life back. The first time I ran was so emotional. That was the first time in 8 years that in the first 2 minutes of my run, I hadn't had to use the bathroom.
7 minutes in, never done that.
I just like, thank God, you know, that I can do this. Like what I was saying earlier, the littlest things that people don't realize, I'm just so grateful for.
It feels awesome. It was weird because I've like run with pain in my stomach for so long. Like I forget what it's like to like run without it. And like for the first time, it's like I had no pain. Like it just felt so good. I felt like I could run like 1,000,000 miles. I've been making myself do it for so many years in pain just because that's why I started running in the first place. And it just feels like I have like something back that I've been like wanting for so long.
So it's been a little over 3 weeks since my surgery, and I'm finally feeling back to normal.
About a month after my surgery, I felt stronger and better than I had felt in a long time. And I wanted a challenge.
I think I'm making the decision to go ahead and do the half marathon, which is in November.
The reason I chose the Las Vegas half marathon is because it was for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation, the CCFA.
Part of me was just like, are you serious? Like, you just had surgery. This is kind of like the time where you really need to focus on getting better.
I felt like I was trying to convince him, and I know he was looking for the doctor's approval before I started going for it.
The one thing we always say is stay very well hydrated. That's the most important thing after these kinds of surgeries. Is because the colon, its main job used to be to reabsorb all the water. So after you take it out, you run the risk of getting dehydration.
I wanted to run not just for myself, but for all the people that, you know, couldn't.
It's a lofty goal. 13.1 miles is not like a short distance. It's going to take some energy to get through that.
One thing people watch out for is the risk of a hernia after any kind of operation, because the incisions only heal to about 80% of their previous strength. So there's always a risk of hernia anytime we make those incisions in the abdomen.
So I had attempted a half marathon a couple years ago, and I had to drop out because my pain was so bad at mile 7. I went to a bathroom and I basically didn't leave the porta potty. I felt, you know, it was such a letdown to have to stop and to not be able to finish, physically not be able to finish.
She knows her body best. It's gonna be interesting. I just wanna make sure she's not like pushing too hard just to make sure that she can finish this race. You know, I really want her to get better.
I think what we finally agreed to is that if I felt like I couldn't do something or something was getting worse, that I would stop. And that was the best he could do with me, because when I have my mind set on something, I'm gonna do it, whether he says yes or no. You know, it was gonna happen. Since the half marathon was only a month away, I knew I had to start training pretty fast. I went for a run with Amy one day.
I met her through my husband. They went to acting class together a couple years ago. She's a force to reckon with. I love her. I think she's got amazing energy and zest about life.
She was just talking about the half marathon. She was gonna run 13.1 miles for me. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, you've you've never even run 5 miles.
I'm doing this marathon for her, which it's such a bad idea, it really is, but because I hate running.
And you're gonna do this half marathon? For me, it was at that point that I knew if my friends were there surrounding me and doing it with me and supporting me, that I could do 13.1 miles. I started at 1 mile and I would build a mile every few days. And I got up to mile 4 and I felt good. And I got up to 6 and I felt good. I was tired, I felt out of shape, but I felt good.
Hold on, we gotta stop. Oh.
But then before I'd hit 8 miles, that's when I'd start to notice pain.
What's wrong?
I have pain. It just hurts really bad.
I went to the doctor and they couldn't really figure out what was wrong. I was running today and at mile 7, I started feeling pain and it felt like my stoma was getting pulled out of my stomach. That was even more scary because it was kind of like I had to make that call, do I keep running or do I not? I'd go back down and run, 4 miles and I'd be okay, but every time I hit 8, I don't know, something in my body would cause pain and I couldn't finish. I tried to go for another run today and I had the same pressure around my stoma. I felt like if I didn't finish the half marathon, I would be letting so many people down, including myself. And I just couldn't see that as an option. I'm gonna try to take it easy for the next couple days and see if it gets better. Right now it's bleeding around the stoma and it's really tender. So I'm hoping just taking a little bit of rest will help. Am I just being stubborn? Is this something that I should really be doing? Or am I risking my health?
I can put it right under the table.
Perfect. That for you. Today we are putting on a fundraiser for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. It's called Dancing for a Cause.
I figured since I was running the half marathon, I might as well try to raise money for them. I got a speaker to come and share her story.
After struggling for 5 years and really not being able to do anything I really wanted to do, I made the choice to have my colon and rectum removed.
And I also reached out to people with Crohn's and colitis, and a lot of people are embarrassed to talk about it in person, so I picked a few stories, and I had a couple of my friends read it out loud.
At the age of 13, he was rushed into the OR with what they thought was a burst appendix. That's when he was officially diagnosed with having Crohn's disease.
What these people go through, what I went through, it's such a internal struggle and no one really understands. And I think these honest letters that they had written really kind of gave people a glimpse into a world that not many people want to talk about.
Next week I will be running the Las Vegas half marathon to raise money for it, and I just hope we find a cure so that it doesn't come down to surgery, because even though I lost my colon, I hope not everyone has to.
It was cool because I had my stealth belt, I had my bag, and I was just able to dance. All the love that I had surrounded myself with throughout my surgery, throughout my recovery, they could help me get through this, and I could run a half marathon. So a couple days before Vegas, I just wanted to really clear my head. The hike just kind of, just centered me. It helped me gather my thoughts. It helped me just appreciate how far I'd come. I remember being like, wow, less than 2 months ago you had surgery and you're gonna do this amazing thing and you're gonna inspire so many people, And it It was a powerful moment that I needed to have by myself.
We are here, we're halfway to Vegas. I run the marathon tomorrow, and I'm just road tripping with Jay and Matt, and this is probably the first road trip that I have felt good on.
I was drinking coffee, water, juice, like you name it, I was drinking it, and I was just so happy. I remember we pulled off once to stop, and it was because the guys had to use the bathroom.
A little nervous, but I'm ready to run and finish 13.1 miles.
Once we got to Vegas, I met up with Team Challenge. They were who I was running for the CCFA. We went and signed up at the convention center, which is where everyone goes to get their, their racing bibs.
So I just got my bib number. I'm all set up for the race. I got my t-shirt. This guy kind of pumps me up more because the energy is like crazy. So, yeah, just getting ready for tomorrow.
The morning of the half marathon felt surreal. I couldn't believe that this day had come. The Style Lounge in Las Vegas had heard about my story and offered to give us tattoos and do our hair. So all of us girls, of course we wanted to look cute.
Can we do wings?
Yeah, let's do wings.
Okay, we want to do wings on our back.
But we have to take off our shirts.
The people that were running it with me, it was such an eclectic group. Elisa and Christy, Cosette, Gina's a mom with 3 kids, and Amy is not a runner. I got a henna tattoo on my hand. They gave us angel wings on our back. They did our hair. We looked amazing. I mean, we were probably the best looking group of girls running a half marathon. It just made the day that much more special. And it added so much. I think it really got all of us even more excited.
All right, I am going to change my bag for the half marathon that I am running today.
So right before the race, I wanted to make sure that I would have no leaks in my bag. So I wanted to make sure it was a fresh bag. I went back to my hotel room and I switched my bag.
I'm hoping that it works and there's no leaks because running with a leaky bag is not going to be a great thing.
There was the aspect of me physically running, and then there was the aspect of the bag leaking. And both were concerns.
I just hope the bag holds up. It's kind of what I'm nervous about, to be honest. It's like my biggest fear. It's more so the bag leaking than me finishing, even though I know the finish is going to be hard also. It's all been leading up to this race. I'm so excited. 2 months ago, I was in a hospital bed having my colon removed, and now I'm going to be running a half marathon, and that's pretty amazing. Woo! So, yay! Go Rebecca! Yay! Good luck, all of us!
Macklemore performed. We were jumping around and rapping, and then you could just kind of see our faces going oh my gosh, we're about to run a half marathon. And then the reality set in, and we were and we started kind of dancing less and being oh man, this is happening. So once we got to the starting line, because it took a little bit of time to get up there with all the people, and once it started, just
5, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It was just I don't even know how to describe it. I just let everything go. I felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. I remember we went through like the 2-mile mark, and there was music playing and lights flashing. It was just so much energy, and people were just like, I love your glitter tattoos, we love your angel wings. You know, like people were just being so friendly, cheering us on.
So we are almost at mile 5.
And then we got to mile 5, and I felt good. I think all of us kind of felt good. We got to mile 7, and I was like, all right, I'm good. Once we got to mile 10, it was like, we're at mile 10. We only have 3 miles left. But at the same time, my legs were like, 3 miles.
We just hit the 10-mile mark. We're 4 strong. One of our girls went actually fast back our old racing days. And one is behind. But yeah, I'm still here. Amy's still hanging.
And I know even with Amy, it was a shift, you know, because you get tired and you start questioning, and you're like, what if we don't make it?
We have 2 miles left, so we have to finish. So far, so good with everything.
With 1 mile to go, everyone's cheering. You can see the finish line. It was like, it just felt like I was floating. We crossed the finish line, and we all grabbed hands, and we just held hands. And like, that was like, for me, what had just summed up my whole surgery. Like, the support I had from all of these people and my friends, and they were doing this with me, and we finished it together. And I felt like my surgery and my journey has been so many people's journey, you know? And I feel like that's why I had to do this. It's not just my story, it's a lot of people's story, you know? And I want them to know that they can have the happy ending.
Get a medal! Yeah, we did it!
Crossing that finish line was for more than just me. It was something that I'd done for something greater than myself.